Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Juan. I'm a yarn addict, hence the name Juan the Yarn Addict, and I'd like to welcome you to another session of Coffee and Cake with Juan. If you're new here, hi, hello, and welcome. I'm super happy that you found me. If you're not new here and you're returning, well, welcome back. I'm super grateful and thankful you have returned. These sessions are sessions where I sit back, I cake up my yarn over a cup of coffee, and here is my cup. It says life is short, buy the yarn, and I agree 100%. But it's what's on the inside that counts. I have Dunkin' Donuts hazelnut coffee with caramel macchiato creamer. It's my go-to. I talk about it all the time. It's actually too hot for me to drink right now, so I'm gonna sit it down until it cools down a little bit. And so today I'm going to be caking up my variegated yarn. So I have my vintage variegated yarn. Here are some of the yarns that I plan on caking up. So we have Dawn Sayel, and I believe this is shaded greens. I have 3 to be exact that I'd like to put into one big cake. And I have 2 skeins of this Pamela yarn from Lion Brand Pamela, and the colorway here is Blue Denim Ombre. So those are the yarns here. Very, very nice. Next, I have 2 skeins of Banana Berry from Red Heart. This is Red Heart Super Saver, Banana Berry. Beautiful, beautiful colorways there. I have some already caked up in the other room, but I came across these and noticed that they're flat and it looks like they were used. And so I figured, you know what? Let me just go ahead and cake this up and put it in a cake tray just so that when and if I need it, I won't have to worry about any yarn barf. So there's that. I have 2 skeins of papaya. We have a tail here. So this is papaya pulling yarn. 2 skeins of that. It looks like there's 2 different lot numbers, but it's okay. There they are, papaya pulling. So I will sit this over here. I have 2 skeins of Radiance yarn. This is Evening Jewels Ombre. Radiance. And 2 skeins identical. Actually, this 3rd skein doesn't have a label on it, but I'm assuming it's the same. What do you guys think? It looks the same, right? So maybe 3. And I think these are 3-ounce skeins. So this can actually work up to, I believe, 10 to 12 ounces. So I might be able to get all 3 of these onto one cake. We'll see. And I will be saving the labels. I put the labels on the insides of my cakes. What else do we have here? We have Red Heart Super Saver in the colorway Bikini. This is a lot of fun. I really wished this was still in production. It's such a great colorway. Look at that. It's so, so good. Again, the colorway is Bikini. And we have, I'm not sure if I'm gonna cake this up or not. It's a skein that's in pretty decent shape. It hasn't been used. It's called Panther Pink. Panther Pink. This is Red Heart Super Saver. So this is great. Hot pink, A+. I have a skein here. I'm not exactly sure the name of it. This was gifted to me by a viewer of the channel. Beautiful, beautiful skein of yarn there. I can't wait to work with that. Actually, I think this particular skein will work up in another project that I have in a whip basket. So stay tuned for that. And then I have a no label yarn here. It's a medium 4-weight yarn in the blues and the greens there. Very, very nice. At first I thought it was the same as the Pamela yarn, but clear difference there. So it's definitely not that. And what else do I have here? I have another Pamela. So we have 3 Pamelas. Another skein here, I'm not sure if I'm going to cake up, but it looks like there's a bit of a mess on the inside here. So maybe it's best that I do so that when I go to it, I won't have to fight any yarn barf. This is Red Heart Super Saver Cameo, Desert Camo. Did I say cameo? I meant to say camo. So Desert Camo. Again, I'm not sure. If we get to it, we get to it. If not, I'll save it for another coffee and cake. No big deal. So I think those are the yarns that I have for this session. I do have one that I started here. If you've been eyeballing this, I began playing with this before I pressed the record button because it just looked like all the things were happening to it. So let me just move all this out of the way. I'm going to try and keep the colorways together so when we go to work them, we're good. So I went to pull out the center and I wound up with yarn barf here. And then the yarn barf turned into yarn barf. So the yarn baby had a baby. So I kind of have pieces scattered about. So let's just go ahead and do this one to get this started here. So every time I go to cake up my yarn here, I create a loop. And I put the loop here so that when everything is done and it's sitting in my cake trays, which I'll pause the video and grab a cake tray and show you in a moment. I loop this so that when I go to the cake tray, I can just put my hook right in and begin working. I won't have to worry about, you know, where's the center. I can clearly identify by this loop. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that there. I'm going to weave that through there. And we're going to get started. Hopefully the sound of my caker here doesn't make too much noise. Let me just go ahead and pull this back. There we go. Oh, I should feed it around here first. I completely forgot that part. Okay, hold on. Let me start this over. Hold on. Okay, so first, let's feed the eye of the arm, if that's what this is called. I call the eye of the arm this piece right here. Let's feed that through, put it here, and then feed this. Okay, so now we're good. I don't know the name of this yarn. I don't know if it's Red Heart. I don't know if it's a store brand of some sort, but it's got all the blues and it's got a beautiful hue of pink there, and magenta, cobalt blue. I mean, it's stunning. I love the contrast of the pinks and the blues there. And I have an aversion to certain shades of pink. I do really enjoy a neon pink, a hot pink, but the more subdued pinks, I'm not really a huge fan of. But I'll work with them if a pattern or a design element calls for it. I'll definitely do that. It's not my go-to. And if you've been following me on my journey here, you know that about me. So many people poke fun at me, in all good fun, but I'm not a fan of the pink. I have tongs that we call blink snatchers, and I have gloves just so that, you know, I don't have to touch the pink. Certain shades of pink, that is. So anyway, hopefully this isn't too much of a problem. It's not such a big skein. It looks like it's a 3.5 ounce skein, and we're already to the skein, which is super good news. So I thought maybe we were going to have lots of yarn barf come out of here, but it's not too bad. And so I have several projects going right now with my vintage variegated yarns. If you've been following my journey, you know that I've been making hexagons with these vintage variegated yarns. I'm also taking the leftovers and I'm creating my C2C vintage spectrum blanket. So I'm going to take all my leftovers, use every single piece of vintage variegated yarn that I have in my house, and I'm putting them to projects. So I may fuse in a third project, because if I'm using these for hexagons and I only need 5 of each colorway and I have a lot left, I may put that yarn to another project until the yarn becomes small enough for the C2C, because I don't want large blotches of colors in that C2C. I want it intentionally, you know, running one row here, one row there. I've shown that project on the channel and a lot of people were like, Juan, break that up. Put black, put gray, put something in between those colors, because it's a lot to look at. But for every person that told me that, there was another person saying, Juan, keep it like that. keep it just as it is because that's kind of part of the charm of it. So I don't know, I'm torn still. I haven't put it on the hook since I brought that up for discussion. So what I may do is put a poll out there on the post tab with a picture of what it looks like now, and then you guys can tell me. I may do a swatch of doing like maybe a tan or a cafe latte colorway and put that in between the colors, just so that you can see what it looks like broken up between like a vintage variegated and then like a solid. So maybe that's an idea. And then I'll let the viewers, I'll let all of you guys decide, because I like it either way, equally. I don't have a preference one over the other, and I'll be happy whichever way we go. So if the vast majority of you guys are thinking that maybe I should put a solid in between that, then I'll go ahead and do that. I have no problems whatsoever doing that, and I'm gonna love it just the same. I have a knot here. Hopefully there won't be too many. So there is that. For some reason I can't stop saying that. I mentioned it in a video or a live. It may have been the Saturday night date night. I mentioned that I have a word thing where I say, so there is that, which has come a long ways, because when I first started my channel, I used to say a lot to just gather my thoughts. So I've learned how to not say that. And if I do say it, it's very rare that I say that. But the now is, so there is that. Oh well, it is what it is, you know? C'est la vie. All right, so, okay. Now I understand why we're knotting up a lot. So with these older yarns, the outer shell of the skein has, I guess, fused itself together, and it's causing these little knots to happen, which is completely understandable. I mean, the skein's been intact together for decades, potentially. So I'm just gonna work through this as best as I can. And how beautiful is this skein right now? I love it, it's so good. I did a coffee and cake with Juan, like let's cake up vintage variegated yarns, and it did really well. I'm thinking that there were a lot of people asking, like, Juan, why don't you leave your skeins as skeins until you're ready to use them and then cake the yarns up after? Well, for me, I don't really have much time to play with the yarns when I'm in the middle of a project. It's preference, really. I could go either way. I would just prefer taking a cake tray off the shelf, picking a color, and getting right to work. And then carving out time for this, where I'm just sitting here talking to you guys, caking up the yarns. So for me, it's a lot of fun to talk about the yarns, because as a true yarn addict, I have an appreciation for all the things yarn, and I'd like to just take that time to talk about it. So yeah, that's kind of the reason why I separate it and make this a thing, and then I make that a thing. It's all the things. That's another thing I used to say a lot. It's all the things. I do say it a lot still, but not as much. Okay, so let's go ahead and finish this up. So at the very end, what I do is I take a long piece like this and I'll wrap it around, and I make what I call a belt. Now, a lot of people I've seen caking up yarns, they use barrettes. They'll put like the barrette into the side to hold it, which I think is great, but I don't have barrettes. So I make a belt, and then I just wrap it around and pull it nice and tight. I'll pop this off the top, bring this up. Now this cake did not have a ball band with it, so we are good. So I'm just gonna do this. And there we have it. Beautiful, beautiful cake. So tasty. Is this cool enough? I hope so, because I need coffee. It's so good. It's so good. I'm so addicted to coffee, it's not even funny. It's so great. Okay. Next, I'm going to work with this papaya yarn. It's calling my name. Papaya pulling is what it is called. And let me see if I can find, it looks like I wrapped this on the outside. Okay. Now what has me a little concerned is this skein here is slightly different than the one that actually has the ball band. Clearly different lot numbers. From a distance, I could sit here and say, you know what? It actually is different, because this one here has yellow in it. This one does not. Look at that. So this has yellow, this does not. That's the difference. Just to think I was going to run these two together. Well, that's not going to be a thing. I'm going to keep them separate because they are different yarns. Okay, so this is not papaya pulling. I don't know what it is. I don't have a ball band for this. It looks just like it, except it's got yellow in it. So, all right, well, moving on. Oh, okay, so I almost did the things again. We have to feed the eye and then put it on the cylinder, like so, like that, and then do the loop-de-loop. Okay. Hold on, maybe I need to do this. Okay. All right, so there we have it. So while I do this, I should have asked this moments ago. How is everyone? How are all of you? I hope you guys are well. What are you working on? Tell me all the things. Do you have any whips on the hook or on the needles that you're working on while listening to me just blab at the gums? Or do you have me on for background noise while you clean the house? Or do all the things? I'm very curious. I like speaking to that, especially if I know. I think it's really, really cool. Because truth be told, I do the same thing. I put on my favorite podcasters and I clean the house, I work on my whips. So I am one and the same. I do all the things, and I really enjoy being able to just, you know, travel with the person I'm watching, and it helps me get through my work. I'm always having things on the hook, and anything to help me get through my projects, I'm all about that. And so, yeah, if you're listening to me while you're doing all of your things, tell me what you're working on. I love knowing all of that for no other reason than just wanting to know. Oh, I have to tell you, I absolutely love caking up yarn. So much so that I have a whole thing on my channel about it. And the best part about caking up the yarn is the caking trays. Do I have one nearby? I do. Let me finish this and I'll show you a cake tray. It's looking at me from the recliner. Oh, yes. So one cake tray from the Dollar Tree holds 6 cakes from this. So whether you're using this particular caker, ball winder, or if you're using the Knit Picks one, or most of them come out the same height. But in either case, the tray fits 6, and every now and then I'll stop over to the Dollar Tree and I'll pick up a few more and then a few more, just because I really like being organized, and then I can stack the trays. And yeah, it's just so much more organized and neat. And when I look for a particular yarn, I just go through the trays. I don't have to dig through a bag or look on a shelf and move everything around. I can just move the trays over one at a time, and for me it works. My mom, however, does not care for the cake trays. She likes looking through her bags and her bins, and you know, to each their own. You know, if you like caking up your yarn, by all means, have at it. And if you don't, that's okay too. We all have our thing. My mom reminds me of that all the time. She's like, Juan, we all have our own thing, and it's okay. And she's right, you know. But for me, I like being able to carry conversation while doing this, because fighting the yarn barf in complete silence is not my cup of tea or my cup of coffee. So anyway, I get a lot of enjoyment out of doing this while just shooting the breeze, as they say. I'm almost finished, and it's always at the end. It's never smooth sailing at the end. There's always something sitting there on the table waiting for you to go through and finagle with. All right. It's almost, actually, you know, when I do my scrap cakes, I actually get through more yarn doing the scrap cakes than this, because most of the yarns that I'm working with are already caked up, and I just change colors and things. But you know, this part of the process I feel is just as important, you know. And I believe this yarn here calls for a 5.5 millimeter hook. Let me see. Does it call for net? Yes, 5.5. It's a thin 4. I'm surprised. I don't know for sure about this one, because it didn't come with a label or a ball band. But I would almost guarantee that this here is a Red Heart yarn, and they're suggesting a 5.5. So there is that. And there is the yarn. Super, super nice. It looks so much better like this than like a flat skein, in my very humble opinion. I do very much prefer this. All right, so let's move on to something a little more colorful. Well, that's pretty colorful. Let me see what the things are with this. All right, so it looks like we have a bunch of this, and then it should go straight into the skein, hopefully. We'll see. It's wound around the top here. We're almost at the end. Oh, there it is. Perfect. Okay, so I'll just set that on the laptop. We'll have a nice start at least, right? Hopefully there's no yarn barf inside of that skein. And the colorway here, again, is called Bikini. Once I get this on my caker here, call it the caker, the ball winder, I will show you the label once more. So let's feed it through the eye, put it on the cylinder, just like that, and feed it there. Okay, and so before I start, there it is. It's called Bikini. And look at that yarn. It's so nice. Yes. Now the pink that's in this is called Barbie pink. Well, that's what I call it. It's Barbie pink. It's not neon pink. It's not hot pink. It's Barbie pink. It reminds me of the Barbie car. Or the Barbie house? One of the things. It's the same color as that. But my favorite color in this skein actually is the teal. I know, it's an odd choice. Hold on. Okay, so we do have some barf. I figured as much. But again, it goes to, you know, what I said earlier about having to cake this up ahead of time. Just having it ready is all the things. Okay, so I think we're good now. And I don't know how many ounces. Let me see. It says 244 yards, 223 meters, 5 ounces, 141 grams, made in the USA. So, yeah. Now, I wonder, were the yarns that Red Heart produced that were made in the USA any better than the ones that are produced now in Turkey? I want to say, in my very humble opinion, the Red Heart yarns that were made in the US, to me, had better quality. That's just me. I think that's one of the reasons why I gravitate towards the vintage Red Heart. But with modern technology and the way that everything is going, I mean, I guess it's hand in hand. It's based on preference. I'll work with anything, you know? But the color stories, the thickness of the yarn, well, some of them anyway. This one here is not thick at all. But then again, I don't know how old this yarn is because it didn't have a ball band on it. So, yeah, there's that. But most of my vintage variegated yarn that was made in the US, very thick. You know, it's a thick 4, like an Aran. So, I mean, I don't know. I'll work with it. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not against it. I don't think anything less of it, but I'm just curious to know, like, these US yarns that are vintage, what's the quality in comparison to the vintage yarns made in Turkey? If there are even any in my stash. I'll have to look. Because I don't know if I can compare a vintage variegated yarn made in the US to a current a current variegated yarn made in Turkey. It's just night and day difference because you have current yarns made from across the seas, different machines, different process, I think. So, I don't know. But I have a deep appreciation for this yarn here. Super, super nice. And this teal is great. It works very nicely next to the yellow, the blue, the orange. It's a great accent color. And I love how when I turn this, it looks like it's pulling on the cake. Isn't that awesome? Maybe it's just the angle of the camera, I'm not sure. But it's turning out really, really nice. And we are at the end here, which by all accounts, this did not give me much of a problem at all. I really enjoy that part of it. Okay, so here we are at the end. I do love this colorway. Not so much the name, bikini, but I do enjoy these colors. And even the pink is not that bad. I mean, it's Barbie pink, which leans more towards the hot pink. Okay. Oops. Hopefully I can squeeze this in there. I should have. There we go. Perfect. Now just do that. And there's that. Bikini. Beautiful. Love it. All right. Moving on. Let's do Banana Berry. I'm excited about this one. Banana Berry. I've had a few of these already, which have been caked up and I've used. I think I used it on a tutorial, Crochet with JTYA on Sunday. Yep. I enjoy this colorway very, very much. Okay. So there's that. All right. Hopefully this isn't a problem. But you never know what you're going to get into with these skeins. They've been sitting forever, you know? Let's see here. So I think I may be able to get both skeins onto one cake, but it's going to be a big cake. That's what I think. We shall see, because one of these, it's 5 ounces, and I know I can get this to 10 ounces. So we shall see. This is going to be a true test. Can I get both of these skeins onto this one cake? I think I can, but that just means I have to make sure that the tension is nice and tight. It's not too loose. Now, some of these are looser than others. Like the first one that I did, the tension's loose because for some reason I just felt like if I had pulled on it and gave it more tension, it would have bowed. So with this thinner yarn, I have a strong feeling that it's going to be okay. That I can apply tension to it and it's going to be just fine. So we shall see. 5 ounces really isn't a lot. It goes fairly quickly when you're caking it up. So yeah, and besides, I can literally go until the end of this brim here, this edge. So I may be able to get more than 10 ounces. I don't know, we'll see. But I'm on the last layer, it looks like. I don't know if it shows, but it's okay. I'm holding it in such a way that if it knots, it's going to catch my hand before it catches here. It's never a good feeling pulling knots out of there. So let's go ahead and fix this. There we go. Perfect. And I just remembered I had to grab the cake tray, which is over there. I have to remind myself. I squirreled. I saw the colors and I'm like, oh, I got to do a next one. All right, so I'm almost done this one here. I'm a little nervous because when we get to the ends of the skeins, sometimes it loves to knot up on me. So I just have to be careful. Maybe I need to go slow. If I go too fast, it might not. Please, please, please. Okay. It almost made it to the end before knotting, which I appreciate very much. There we go. Okay. It was just a sticker. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a slip knot instead of knotting it, because I don't know if it's going to be me that gets this far with this cake. I'm not sure. But if I decide to do a different kind of join, I won't have to worry about wasting any of the yarn. Okay, so there is that. And let me just do a quick slip knot. And it's going to be a great day if I can get both of these skeins on one cake. Just a slip knot like that. Let's bring that down there. Bring this there. Okay. Okay. Oh, got past my hand. I didn't want that to happen. I didn't want that to happen. All right. So I still have many skeins to cake. So as I'm finding them, I'm putting them in a special bin and I'm working through the bin. But if I find new to me colorways or colorways that I can't find in my trays, I get them. I set them off to the side. I don't always show them on my podcasts or anything like that. I save them for these sessions. But yeah, I may start showing them as I get them so you guys can see all the fun yarn colorways that I find. Look at that. As that cake turns, it looks like it's color pulling. At least that's what it looks like from here. That's so cool. I love it. And it looks like it's going to make it. I don't know, my fingers are crossed. I think we're gonna do the things. Oh, I love this. This is so good. If it would just not knot up on me. Stay the course, Juan. Stay the course. You can do this. Now, when I make my scrap cakes, I usually do 4 or 5 cakes in about 45 minutes. I'm at 4 cakes. Will I be able to finish a 5th cake before the end of this coffee and cake with Juan? I'm not sure. I think I can do it. Wow, this is huge. This is a huge cake. It grew fast. I'm like, wait a minute. What is all the things? What? Oh, I love it. Okay, and so there is that. And this is a huge cake of banana berry. Wow. I really do enjoy this colorway. It's very Caribbean, and I think it would make a great well, anything really. There we go. Just wrapping it around the belt that I've created. Just like that. Okay, perfect. So I'm going to pop this off, slide this. So I'm going to save both. That's going to let me know that 2 skeins are here. So fold it nice and tight and sit it on the cylinder just like that, and then pull the cake up, and it's going to circle around the paper. Oh, this is nice. This is great. Look at that. It's so good. It's like candy. This is like a variegated saltwater taffy. It's so, so good. Love it. All right, so we have 4 cakes completed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 skeins used, which is great. So I have this standalone by itself, I could do. I have this standalone I can do. The camo and the Pink Panther, I think I'm not going to work on for this session. I think this would just, yeah, this is another coffee and cake with Juan, for sure. The rest of them are in pairs and triplets. And then, of course, I have this papaya pulling one, which isn't in bad shape. I mean, it is a leaker. But I think I'm going to want to work on this one here because I have an active whip on the hook, and I may need to use this. So, yes, we're going to work on this one. I think the end is going to give me a little bit of trouble. Let me just unwind this so it doesn't knot up. Okay, so let's do that. Let's create our slip knot. And again, this is just something that I do. This is a me thing. It's not required. Let's feed the eye and then sit this on the cylinder just like this. Perfect. Okay, let's do it. Please, no yarn barf. Please, no yarn barf, okay? Whatever's happening in there, no yarn barf babies. Sorry. We had to talk to the yarn. I don't know the colorway, but it's giving me like late summer, early fall. I'll give you another close-up of this wonderful colorway. It's like August in a skein. August like September. More August though, if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, of course. So like late summer. And I say late summer because we have this brown in here, which autumnal colors, you know, and then we have the orange. So maybe like the orange, the yellow, the brown. And what's giving me like summer vibes is the red, like the red, orange, and yellow. So it's like that swing in between the seasons. Now the project that I have on the hook has a dark hunter green. And so this is a great contrast. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's a modern granny in the square, but I have a modification to that project. So when you're doing a modern granny in the round, or even back and forth, regardless, one of the rows is a single crochet, chain 1 or 2 single crochet, depending on your project. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing 2 single crochets, chain 1, 2 single crochets to really make that single crochet round stand out and pop, you know? Because the variegated yarn is a lot to look at. So I'm using that dark green as a way to break up the variegated colorway. And by placing 2 singles next to each other in the round like that, it really does give it its space. And I really appreciate that. So I'll have to get that back on the hook. I haven't touched it in a while because I needed this yarn. So once I put some rounds into it, I'll show it again on maybe the next podcast, depending on when you're watching this. So yeah, if you're watching this in the future, it may already be done. So yeah. Now I'm going to safely assume that this is a 5-ounce skein. just based on size and the fact that like I'm already halfway through the skein, which it's super nice. I do like that a lot. This does feel like a thinner 4-weight yarn, not so much Aran weight, but like a solid 4. It makes me wonder how old this yarn is and if it's even a Red Heart yarn. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm in love with the colorways here. I love it a lot. It's so, so good. And I have a knot. A knot is much better than yarn barf. I mean, I will deal with a random knot that pops up any day over yarn barf. It's just not the things, because sometimes, just between us, when I have yarn barf that I cannot get out, I snip both ends and I tie the ends, and then what I do is I take that knot. I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I'll take it and I'll cut it up into little pieces, and it becomes amigurumi stuffing, like inside Sasha. Or, you know, inside another Ami. So I've started with Amis on my channel. Like, I only have 2. I'm working on a 3rd one. So, you know, someday I'm going to run out of fluff. I have a box of fluff behind the recliner. Once I run out of that, I'm going to go to my, you know, amigurumi stuffing. It's going to stay inside the Ami anyway, right? It's a great use of yarn. I think so. It's a great way to recycle the yarn. So, yeah. I love that for us. Okay, what is even happening here? Okay. All right. We're getting to the end of the skein here. This is the part where it likes to knot up, as you can see. Just shake and bake. Shake and bake, and I helped. All right. And you want to go backwards now. Hold on, wait a minute. Okay, so we have arrived to the end of this cake. Perfect. So it looks like I get just as many solid cakes done, well, vintage variegated cakes. I get just as many of these done as I do scrap cakes. So yeah, I love that for us. All right. So I'll just sit this right here up top. All right, and let me show you let me show you a cake tray. I have one right here. Let me place you guys on a brief pause. I'll be right back. Okay, so I am back, and this is what a cake tray looks like. So this tray, as I mentioned, I get from the Dollar Tree. It's $1.25. And I have quite a bit at this point. I have black ones and I have gray ones. Now the black ones I use for behind the scenes whips, like if I'm designing something. So I don't even show those on the channel, but I do have the gray ones here, and I use these ones for cakes that I make for these sessions. So as I mentioned, 6 fit in a tray. And then what I do is I take them and I stack them like this. Oh, here's a black one. So yeah, so there's that. And for this session, these are the cakes that we have worked up. So I have this one here. This is Banana Berry. Just giving you another shot of that. And then for this one here, I don't have a name because we didn't have a ball band, but it's giving us late summer, early fall vibes, at least for me anyway. And then this one here, I don't really have a name for this one either, but it's got these beautiful blues and magenta and that fuchsia colorway. It reads more fuchsia than pink, but if it's pink, it's fine. It's not that like muted pink. Not my thing. And then here we have Red Heart Bikini. That vibrant colorway there, that color story with the orange, the yellow. We have that teal in there. So, so good. And then last but certainly not least, we have this yarn, which I thought was papaya pulling, but it's got yellow in this. Whereas this papaya pulling has no yellow. And this has yellow in it, as you can see. So yeah, I'm not exactly sure what the name of this one is, but I don't think it's papaya pulling. Anyway, that is all I have for this coffee and cake with Juan. I really hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't forget to hit the like button. Consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so already. And then, of course, share the video. I would definitely appreciate the support. So that is all from me for now. And until the next one, my friends, take care. Bye.